everyone, and welcome to another episode of She Happy Lady with your happiness life coach, Lucy Rodriguez. She Happy Lady is a place where women can feel empowered to cultivate their happiness within. I want to invite you to watch this whole video all the way to the end if you are looking for a transformation and a shift in your life. Have you ever looked yourself in the mirror and felt like you weren't enough? Like you're not pretty enough, you're not successful enough, or worthy of love? Can this be your reality? Are you, is your self dialogue negative in you? Your inner dialogue is negative towards you. Sometimes the person that doubts you the most is yourself. And I want to talk about this because I was in that same place. For many years, I struggled with self doubt and feeling like I was not enough. And I want to share in this video the moment that everything changed for me and how I learned to truly love myself. Believe me, I love myself so much. Yesterday, I took myself on a date, okay? I went out to a coffee shop. I got some matcha, some chocolate cake, okay? Because in the weekends I cheat. And I felt so in love with me, and it was wonderful. But that was never the case many years ago. All right? So, my friend, if you ever question your worth, if you compare yourself to others, and if you are waiting for validation, this message is for you. So let's dive in. For years, I did question my worthiness. I needed validation. I worried if people like me. I worried if people accepted me. And I care making others happy, okay, in my account. I did a lot of sacrifices for other people. You know why? Because I was not aware of my emotional need for love and acceptance. In the spiritual realm, as a Christian woman, I know that God loves me unconditionally because God loves me and I know, right? But God Himself created something called the family, okay? And I want you to pay really close attention to what I am going to say about the family. In the family unit, every member receives and gives love to one another. The family is where God's character is reflected through companionship, through nurture, and through spiritual growth. In the family, when the atmosphere is one of nurturing and stability, it is the place that can be called a safe haven because it's where God's divine love is marked. And by the unconditional love of every member of the family, and by the love and that acceptance, each member of the family unit can feel whole and happy. All right? Now, the parents are the foundational pillars that hold the family together. Okay? Mom and dad. Okay? They hold the family together in order to create that safe haven effect that reflects divine love and divine order. But when one of the pillar holders is not present physically or emotionally, because you can be in a place in the body, but your mind is somewhere else, your heart is somewhere else, okay? So when one of the pillar holders is not present, the foundation is going to shift. In my case, there was no presence of my father, okay? Because my father walked out on the family when I was 7 years old, leaving my mom pregnant and with three little girls, and I was one of them. So when one of the parents is missing, stability is not present, and the children, and I lived through this because I can talk to you about it because I lived through it, the children are left feeling missing out in one way or other. And like I say, I can talk about this because I grew up with the absence of my father. I was fatherless and I was an orphan in the natural aspect because spiritually, God is my father. All right, so I grew up with what I call love lack. I made up that word, love lack. Okay. And because of that love lack, I always felt void. I always felt a sense of abandonment and a sense of lacking that a child should feel from the father. Okay, that covering, okay, that protection. I did not have that. I could not experience that, and I missed out on that. Maybe you know that feeling too. And you know what is the scary part? You want to know what it is? That when you feel the parent love lack, you start accepting, because I did, or we start accepting and believing that there is nothing more for us. We think we accept it, this is it, and we just go into survival mode like I did for many years. And I'm gonna tell you that does not make a person happy. All right. Like many of you, I have gone through many things, and I'm going to share a little bit. I have gone through the death of a marriage. I have gone through a divorce. I became a single mom. All right. I have experienced rejection by people, and I have been mistreated by so called friends and family members. Okay. Look at all that. And in all this while, even where people were mean to me and they mistreated me, I kept on giving to a point that one day I felt so depleted because my tank was empty. It is not normal to give and give to people that are not going to give. I mean, people that you know, it's not okay to give and give to people that are going to mistreat you. All right? So, this is my turning point. One night, I was having an emotional crisis. Now, let me tell you that I was not aware of what was happening in my heart, in my inner self. I was not aware. Okay? So, I was not aware that I needed validation. I was not aware that I didn't feel worth. I learned that later on, okay? Because to me, feeling that way, the way I mentioned before, was the normal. That was my normal life, okay? And that's why when it became dangerous. Because to me, it was okay. And I believed, I mean, I know now that that could be shifted and changed because I went through transformation. But in that time, I was not living my happiest life. I was not in my happiest self because to me, that was the normal. One night, I was having an emotional crisis. So I started crying. I don't know, I was like 2 hours crying or three. I couldn't stop. I just couldn't stop. And as a Christian woman and having a relationship with God, I asked God, what was wrong with me? Why, if I have a house, if I have children, if I had a job and many other things, okay? Why did I always feel alone? Why did I always feel void? And God whispered into my heart. Are you ready? This is my personal experience. God whispered into my heart this word. You are living as an orphan. You are living as an orphan. And that's when I realized, it was like in the spur of the moment, how you call it, diagnosis, okay, from the one that really knows me, inside out, I was living like an orphan. All those years of my life, I lived like an orphan. And at that moment, I am so glad that I had that I say that prayer, that I asked God, what is wrong with me? Because at that moment, I felt the most broken. So I walked through life as a Christian woman, but I was broken. Okay, I was walking broken because I needed healing in my heart from the abandonment of my father, for growing up without a father, and all the things that came with that: lack, you know, poverty. Oh my gosh, so many things that, when your mom just, I grew up in welfare, and it was very hard for us. Okay, so that's traumatic for a child. All right, it was very traumatic for me. And you know what, and we need healing from that. So I need a healing from a lot of things that I went through as a child. All right, so my problem that I did not knew before, because I was not aware, was that I was living as an orphan. Now, living as an orphan describes a deep seated fear. Okay, you feel fear. It's a fear driven emotional state. You are on a constant fight and flight mode. You are restless, okay? Because I grew up, seeing my mother struggle and going through all the things I went through and all the problems we had. So you you are like on a fight and flight. So it's like fear, okay? Fear that there's not going to be enough food for tomorrow, fear that they're going to cut the lights, fear that they're going to cut the heat, fear that they're going to cut the phone. So many fears. Like, I grew up with a lot of fears, okay? So that stays, and that needs healing, okay? So, also, living as an orphan describes a deep seated feeling of love and abandonment, okay? And in feelings of insecurity, and resulting, of course, from the trauma and rejection. All right. So I was struggling with a lot of things like that. Like I say, I'm a Christian woman. I've served God all my life. But that part of me, I needed to surrender to God in order for God to start my healing journey. Okay? Because God is a gentleman, and he is not going to do something that we don't allow him to do. Okay? So, and I've never gone to a psychologist or a therapist. Okay? The dealing with me with all those things that I'm talking to you about, it was with God. Okay? It was with him straight. But I do recommend, if you are going through things like this, go to a psychologist. If you become a single mom, have your kids have therapy, help your kids, okay? Because the thing is that no one helped me. My mom, she didn't know what I was feeling. She didn't know, okay? She was trying to survive with four kids, four little kids, okay? A woman with no education, okay? So she was struggling too, and she did the best she can. The best thing she did was to raise us in church, because I am so grateful always to my mom for that. But I was going through a lot. So, and it took me, because I never got the help, it took me many, many years. And I'm telling you, I had this healing, my healing journey started, let's say like 10 years ago, something like that, 10, 15 years ago. And that, I don't feel like an orphan anymore. But before that, I felt these things that I'm talking to you about, because I was living as an orphan. Okay? Now, how does the state of being an orphan operates in your mind? So, it operates as a mental fortress and is characterized by, okay, this is what I went through, by excessive independence on others, okay, in order to be happy. A need to control, okay, because you don't want to lose your structure, so you want to control everything. Um, a performance-driven behavior to earn love, and it operates, feeling constant insecurity, and that creates a void. Okay, the state of living like an orphan, it creates a void that hinders the trust in people and even with God as a father. Okay, so even though I was raised as a Christian in a Christian home and I had a wonderful relationship with God, the area of me and God as a father, that was hindered. But I didn't know until that night when I had that crisis, that I asked God what was wrong with me. Because honestly, I didn't know. I was not aware and I did not want it to live like that anymore. So I became, in that night, I became aware of my self love lack as well. Okay. I was not walking in self love. I was aware of my low self esteem. I was aware of my feeling of unworthiness. And I realized, you know what? That I did not want to live that way anymore. I wanted a shift. I wanted to live life feeling blissful about it. And it's possible because that's how I feel right now. Okay? You have your good days, you have the bad days, but now I have the tools in order to, how you call it, overcome. Okay? So I realized that even though I knew God, like I say, my relationship with Him as a father was being hindered by my lack of internal healing. Okay? And that is the calling I have in my life to help women that are brokenhearted to be whole again and for internal healing. That's my calling. And you know what? The Bible says that with the consolation that we receive, we should help others as well that are going through the same thing. I'm just paraphrasing. All right. So I needed that wound to be healed, but I had to begin the journey. Okay. Because if I don't start, it's never going to happen. All right. So, um, I also received an insight of truth and realized something powerful. Okay, here it is. Because sometimes we just see the darkness and there is always the light at the end of the tunnel. So I will live. So in the natural aspect, I was an orphan. Okay, I realized I was living as an orphan, but I still had a loving father. Okay, because I am a child of God. So I started living likewise. And I started, I'm telling you, it's a journey. It took time. It didn't happen from one day to the other. So I started knowing that I was loved and accepted. And I decided that I would never again beg for people to give me love or validation crumbs. No more crumbing. No more crumbing for love. No more crumbing for validation. No more crumbing for acceptance because I am accepted and I am loved. And I decided that I will live a satisfied life. Okay? It took me a while, and I have to tell you, I read some books and I'm still working at it every day because it's a journey. It's a lifelong journey, okay? Because sometimes we go through things and we remember Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Hold on. So, my journey has been long to get where I am now. And I know the fact that that journey is still continuous. Okay. And I apologize, but my computer went blank. But now I'm back. All right. So, I had to begin with, I had to have awareness of my inner situation in order to have a solution for my problem because I had a problem. And then I had to learn how to accept and love myself. So, in the journey, there's little bits of things that you have to work on. Okay? I had to learn how to not look for validation. I had to learn not to be to accept crumbs for love, okay, and acceptance. I had to learn a lot of things little by little. It's a process, okay? It didn't happen so fast. But one of the most important things that I had to learn to love myself. Do you think in the past I would go and bring myself to a date? No. Yesterday, I go, I'm gonna be nice and kind to me. I went shopping. I bought a beautiful dress. I had my mother's dress, Mother's Day dress already. I got some new shoes. I took myself to a coffee shop. I was surprised that I found a book that was 120 years old. So I was so happy just to be with me and to be kind with me. And not for one moment I felt alone. I just felt happy. Okay, I'm doing something, by myself, and that's okay. Because I learn now, I accept myself and I am comfortable with myself. Some people can't be alone. Some people can't be alone because they can't stand themselves. So if that's you, work with that, okay? Because you know what? Who's never gonna leave you? You. Your you. Yourself will never leave you. So the Bible says that love your neighbor as you love yourself. See, it is a mandate. We worry so much, like I worry so much about loving others and focus on loving others that I forgot myself. And I'm not talking about a selfish type of love. No. This really means that as you care for yourself, care for others, okay? But I had it backwards. I was caring more for others than I care for myself and not my physical body because I was taking myself, go to the doctors and work out and everything, but the emotional part of me because there are different parts of us, okay? But the emotional part of me was totally neglected. So we are complicated individuals, okay? You see a person, one person, but there's 6 parts or 7 parts of you, right? So the emotional part was being neglected. And when I started praying for that, God, what is wrong with me? Then that emotional part opened up, okay? And everything was revealed, okay? And I became aware. I'm going to give you right now, okay, 3 small little lessons that can change everything. Because if I was able to begin my transformation and to be in the state of being that I'm now, so can you. Are you ready? All right, number 1, stop thinking negatively about yourself. Okay? Um, have introspection for awareness. That means reflect. Like ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What is going on with me? What is happening? And you can pray, you can meditate, you can talk to someone that could maybe pinpoint what is going on with you. This is important because as the years go by, if you don't begin to do that reflection, you're gonna stay like that. You're gonna think it's okay, and you're gonna accept that, and you're gonna live miserable. All right, and this is She Happy Lady, where we are cultivating happiness within, and you want to be blissful and live a life satisfied. Okay? And if you don't have that introspection, that self reflection, and if you don't become aware, you are going to continue to live feeling unloved, unwanted, and rejected. And we don't want that, okay? We want to change, all right? We need a shift. It is time. So, you, my friend, need to also be aware of your subconscious programming, okay? Like, oh, I'm not worthy. And change that internal dialogue for I am worthy of love. I deserve to be loved. I am loved. Listen, I say that to myself a whole bunch of time. I am loved. I am worthy to be loved. And I deserve love. I had to say it with my mouth so my ears will hear it and I will believe that. All right? And begin to develop and feel true love and respect for yourself from the heart and from your mind. Okay? Number two, stop comparing your journey to others. Listen, everyone goes through something. Okay? Everyone life journey is different. They're not the same. No one has the same life circumstances. All right? And for that reason, my friend, it is not wise to compare your lives to others. If you see someone living a fulfilled life according to you, all right, and you wonder how in the world did they get there, just be glad for them. Don't get envy, don't get jealous, don't criticize them, just be happy for them. And don't compare yourself to them because you, my friend, have no idea what they have endured in their own personal journey. And this is very, very important. You know that comparison steals your happiness and your joy. Okay? I want to point out maybe two comparisons of when you maybe compare yourself to others. Let's say you see a woman and you say, wow, she's so happily married. And I am still single, like, because I don't know why people are so afraid of being single, like if it was a curse. But I'm going to tell you that singleness is an opportunity, okay? You grow in it. All right. So, okay. So she happily married, but maybe, right, when she was single, she did a lot of self work. She became whole and she attracted a man that is likewise because we attract what we are. If you're single, my friend, just focus on your dreams, okay? Use that freedom to create something valuable for yourself. Another scenario that can be when you compare yourself to others is, oh, she has a fantastic life and she can buy whatever she wants and I am broke. Don't do that. Okay? Be happy for her. She can buy whatever she wants. Maybe, that's the life she created for herself. You don't know the years she's struggling going to school, the struggle she had creating her own business, doing her own thing. And now she is enjoying the fruit of her labor. Be happy for her. All right? And if she could do it, so can you. Don't compare yourself to others. Everyone has the same opportunities, okay? In this era of information, you could do it. All right. So when you do that, you're letting other people dim your light. Don't do that. Okay. Shine with your own light. Number three, start showing up for yourself. This is a big one. This one takes accountability. Do things that make you feel proud and start today becoming that new person or that new version of yourself. A woman that loves herself. Now, I did explain a whole bunch of stuff, and this video is called Will You Love Yourself? You know why? Because loving yourself is one of the beginning shifts that you need to start in your life in order for you to be transformed. Self-love. So I wanted to give you some tips about that. Make things that make you feel proud of yourself. Okay. Maybe you can try making little promises for yourself, like A promise, okay? A promise. So you can tell yourself, I will never chase validations because I am enough. I did this, okay? I will always work on becoming the best version of myself. Self growth, right? I will always be kind to me. Okay, don't ignore the little girl inside you. That's another topic. But they say that we all have a little child inside. If one day you wish something, um, like I love matcha. And I'm not giving like a commercial, but I love the one that they have a Starbucks with lavender foam. I'm obsessed with that. Okay. I don't have it too much because sometimes matcha doesn't sit well with me, like gives me acid, but sometimes I want it and I go and I have it and I'm I don't have it all the time, but when I do, I buy the large and I drink that matcha and I feel like I'm drinking a little piece of heaven. And I feel so kind to me and it's so blissful for me. See, you have to enjoy the little moments, okay? What makes you happy? What rocks your boat, okay? Be kind to you. All right? You see a beautiful dress in the store and you really want it? Buy it for yourself. You know how much hard we work as women? We work full time, then we go home and then we have a second job. I was thinking this morning, okay, I don't want to get off topic, but I was thinking this morning about that little thing that the men say 50-50. All right. And I was watching a video about this man that was telling his little girl, don't do the 50-50. If a man tells you that he's not able to provide for you or the children that you're going to have with him, because a real man will provide for you from the head to the crown of the head. I mean, from the feet to the crown of the head. So I was thinking about that this morning. And I go, you know what? To be honest, we, okay, and I'm not talking bad about men, but this is for women, okay? So, you know, we work a lot. We need to be kind to ourselves. Go to the salon, do your hair, buy that beautiful dress, okay? You see a beautiful diamond, buy for you, okay? I bought myself a diamond. I'm not gonna wait for no one to buy for me. I bought it for myself, okay? So, as women, we work hard, full time. If we are married and have children, or if even though you're single mom, whatever, you work full time, then you go home, and then you have to become the cook, the cleaning lady, the nanny, all right? The wife, of course, for a wife, and that is good. I mean, it's beautiful to take care of your family, but sometimes we give and give and give, and we forgot to be kind to ourselves. Be good, be a good mom, be a good housewife, make yourself a home. Like I love my home. In the morning I turn on my candle, all right, and I love being home, but like yesterday, I say, I'm going to be kind to me. I'm going to do something nice for me. Do it for you. Be kind. Be kind, my friends. Be kind to yourselves, okay? Take care of yourself because you are wonderfully made, okay? And never again. So all these are promises. So you will say, I will be kind to me. I will always take care of me because I am wonderfully made by God and I will never again feel unworthy of love. Okay? Look at yourself in the mirror and tell beautiful things to you. I am beautiful. I am wonderful. I love you. Talk to yourself. You don't need someone to tell it to you. You can do it to yourself. That's the beginning, okay? I mean, I do want my children to tell me to love me, but I know they love me already. But some days you just need someone to tell you I love you. And if that doesn't happen, tell it to yourself. Your confidence, my friends, will slowly grow. All right, so self-love doesn't happen overnight. It's one of the beginnings, one of the little things to start your transformational journey. Okay? It doesn't happen overnight. It can get messy sometimes. It's gonna get uncomfortable because you are used to not loving yourself. You are used to seeking validation. You are used to crying for love. You are used to being rejected. You are used to not putting yourself first. All right, so it's gonna get a little bit messy sometimes and uncomfortable. Some days you're gonna have self doubt, but that is all part of the process. And tell yourself, I don't abandon myself anymore. Say that, repeat it and repeat it until it becomes embedded in your subconscious and it becomes part of your being. Okay? And your transformation will truly come. If it happened with me, it can happen with you. It is time now to live satisfied with life. It is time to be healed right now. It is time to feel whole and complete and to be comfortable with yourself as a person. Okay? If you have spent years doubting yourself, my friends, I want you to hear this three things. You are not broken. You are not behind, so it's never too late to start. My journey began as as an adult, all right, in my 40s, all right? And you are absolutely worthy of loving yourself. Sometimes the greatest love story of your life, it's the one built with yourself. When you love yourself, you are going to create a energy of love and other people will love you. Okay? If you don't love yourself, don't expect people to love you because it all begins with you. You attract what you are. The time to begin that transformation of loving ourselves, okay, to begin our transformational journey, it begins now, right now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Please comment below one thing that you love about yourself. What is that one thing that you love about yourself? But listen, if you have a list, put it again. But I'm just asking for one thing. Okay? And please share this teaching, this video, with your friends. All right? And hit the subscribe button for more content like this to cultivate our happiness within. So have a wonderful day and see you in the next episode. Bye.